does it feel to finally have this past year and have it over?
Yeah, it was great. No, I'm grateful again to Ernie and Ted for giving me this opportunity to continue on. As I stated, kind of at the end of the year, I think over the last couple of years, what we've begun to establish here, the continuity I think is important. You could tell from the year before being the first full year and coming into this year of the understanding, guys knowing the system and what we're trying to accomplish both from an offensively and defensively standpoint, made a big step this year. So I'm appreciative of the opportunity to continue on.
Was there any doubt in your mind about that? Because there are coaches in this league that get 50 wins.
Yeah, no, I don't ever really let that thought process happen. I just continue to do my job, and that's what we've done. That's what I've done since I've taken over, when it's time to move on, it's time to move on. But until that time, you just keep working. You keep plugging along, and you keep instilling your beliefs of how you want things to run and looking at the future. So this is, a great opportunity for everybody, for our team, to continue. Again, the continuity of what we've established over the last couple of years and continually to build on that.
How special is it to continue with this group? Because it's been quite a journey.
It's great. No, it's one of the things that, when we sat down to talk, that was my inclination was to continue this. I was here when it was not pretty, and when you see it change and you can see the things that you implement that begin to work, you want to continue on, and that was definitely my thought process.
You always hear that term or that phrase, they bought into what he was teaching or trying to do. Do you feel like that was part of it, and the guys finally said, yeah, this is what
you gotta have players believe. There's no question about that. Listen, you gotta have the players, number one. It doesn't matter what type of system you're running. You have to have players that are talented and have the capability of doing that. But yeah, it's important to have a team, buy into what your philosophy is and how you're doing it, and that's the only way you accomplish good things. It doesn't matter what team it is, whether it's the Washington Wizards or it's somebody else. So the players are the one that has to go out then and execute and perform, and they're the ones that make it possible. And it's my job to put them in those positions to succeed, and that's kind of what we've done.
Randy, after your two previous stops in Cleveland and Minnesota, was there a part of you that thought, I have to put the head coaching dream aside?
Yeah, again, it's not a situation where, I just enjoy coaching. I enjoy being around these guys, being on the basketball court. And so it was never a situation where, when both stints of Cleveland and Minnesota, I wanted to get back on the court, whatever capacity that was. And if it going back to being an assistant, that was fine. And that's kind of what I've done. And I've really never looked at it, am I ever going to get a shot again? I just want to work. And that's what I did, and the opportunities have arisen because of that. So, no, I never really put it in my mind. Is another opportunity going to come? I just wanted to continue to work.
Moving forward, expectations now awfully high, but I think that's
a good thing, guys. Listen, expectations were high coming into this year. Each year you're doing something right when expectations continue to rise, and that's what we want. We want that to continue to rise for this team, and so I welcome it. I know our players welcome it. Going through what we did this year, that's over with now, and we've got to focus on what we have to do both as an organization and as players to improve on what we did. And so I welcome that.
Other than the specific contract terms, were there things that you talked about with Ernie and with Ted about going forward, the things that you wanted to see change?
No, there's not a lot changed. We've gone down the path of, like I said earlier, of when we started this, 2.5 years ago, of how we wanted to go about doing it. And so it's not anything that really needs to be changed. We just need to continue to follow, the beliefs of what is important for us and our team, and continue down that path. That every year the team changes in some way a little bit, and we want to continue the model of what's been successful in these last couple of years, and then build on that to make it even more successful.
Coach, you talk about being here when it's not pretty, but then you had the opportunity to be a part of a culture change. So have you considered, I guess, how unique that situation is for an NBA coach, and did it actually make the culture transition easier, you having been here when things weren't so well?
Yeah, it's nice to see it change. There's no question, to see it, transform into positive things that have happened over the last couple of years. So that's gratifying, and that's one of the main reasons that I stressed that I wanted to continue on here, is because of that, to see it and see how far we can take this as we move forward.
Did you ever doubt that you wanted to continue here?
No, there was no doubt. I think they knew that as well as I did.
I know earlier in the season when you guys had a lot of ups and downs, below 500, just getting over 500, all that. I know you said you didn't think about job security during that time. Now that we're past that, is that still the case, that you weren't really concerned about that sort of thing?
And it's such a long season. That's the thing that you have to realize, and I wanted our players to realize. It wasn't a start that we wanted to get off to, and but we had the opportunity to change it, and they did. So, no, I've reached a point in my life and in my career that job security is fleeting, as we all know in this business. So if you worry about it, you're not going to do your job well. And so all I ever try to do is do my job the best I can. And when, if they come and say, all right, it's time to leave or it's time to stay, that's all. I don't really worry about it now. As a young coach, you did, and I think that's been one of the things of being around in the league long enough. You understand the things that you have control over, and that's what I try to focus on, what I can control, and then do that the best I can.
What would you advise young head coaches about how to stay employed?
Well, just, work your tail off. Keep your nose clean. Do the things that got you here in the first place. And it's not always going to work out. And you can't let that deter you. If you love what you're doing, you just got to keep plugging along. And, that's when I do talk to young coaches coming into the league, just tell them it's not, in this business, it's not always going to be happy. As the line always goes, coaches, you're hired to be fired. And the sooner you learn that and understand that it's just about hard work and continuing on, and the better off you are.
Much has been said that, about the players talking up, saying they wanted you back. They told us as much. It sounds like they told Ted the same. What does that mean for you that the players spoke up and wanted you back?
Well, yeah, I think we've got a good, relationship. I think, again, continuity of understanding. They understand who I am, and the guys that have been here with me throughout this, I understand who they are and how you have to push buttons and what buttons you have to push. And I think they understand the buttons that I have to push and how I do it. And that's been great. That's developing relationships as you continue on, and that's, I think, what is healthy when you have the opportunity now to continue on, this has been 2.5 years, and hopefully we'll be standing here in 5.5 years, talking about continually moving on. And I think if we can continue that rapport with each other as we have, and that's always a positive.
What will you and Kathy do with all that money?
Well, it's not very much to begin with, so. You have to. I'll give you my wife's cell phone. You can ask her.
Coach, there is one outstanding issue about a dunk attempt that you apparently promised your team if they beat the Bulls in the first round.
It was not a dunk attempt. It started at touching the net. All right, and as we all know, or as you all know, how March can take things from a publicity standpoint and take it over the edge. It became a dunk. So there's got to be a compromise here of I could hardly dunk when I played. I told March, and where he got, I'm going to dunk the ball. We got to get trampoline down for that.
Coach, any predictions for the championship series?
No, I think it's going to be great, though. I think we're seeing, obviously, two great teams going back at it. I think, just with what happened last year in the finals and how that turned from one team almost winning it in 6 games to the other team winning it in 7 is pretty intriguing. But, two very fine teams that, have proven that over the course of the year.
Now that you know for sure that you're back, as you watch Miami, assuming they stay together, they're the team to beat still. Do you think now going forward, hey, we need to, here are things we can do? Do you kind of look at it differently now?
Not really. Like I've always looked at it. What do we have to do now to take the next step? And obviously Miami's that team that's obviously the stepping stone that everybody looks to try to get up to because of what they've done. And so, we've got to figure out going through what we did this year and in terms of the teams ahead of us and what we have to do to leapfrog those teams.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.